All right, I want you all to hear what Chuck Schumer had to say back in 2013. This is 2013, when he warned Republicans that a government shutdown would be absolutely, positively horrible for America. Watch.
We have this extreme hard-right group in the Republican Party, and they have chosen this moment once again to pick their fight on Obamacare. They're perfectly blunt about it. They think threatening a government shutdown, holding the full faith and credit of the U.S. hostage, is the place they have the most leverage. Now, we agree. They want to keep debating Obamacare, fine. But there's a time and a place for everything. It's called the election of 2014. But to hold everything hostage, which in this kind of government set up by the founders they can do, it's wrong substantively, it's wrong politically.
Oh, okay, it's wrong. It's wrong. Talk about hypocrisy, Mr. Schumer. I mean, there is a time and place to debate DACA, and the president says he wants to find a solution, but this is not the time to hold our government hostage. Absolutely not. Over dreamers. Joining me right now with more analysis, American Majority CEO Ned Ryan and former chairman of the D.C. Democratic Party, Scott Bolden. Ned, I'm letting you kick this one off. Why is this wrong to be shutting down our government, not getting members of our military paid the much-needed pay they deserve because of the Dreamer situation?
No, I mean, I think we have to put a very fine point on this, Trish. Democrats are holding hostage our military and the safety and security of hundreds of millions of Americans on behalf of and trying to blackmail Republicans on behalf of hundreds of thousands of illegals. And in some ways, Trish, over a word that Trump might or might not have said. And so the thing that's on display right now, in my mind, is the deep dishonesty and the hypocrisy of Democrats. You had those quotes from Schumer. They were calling Republicans arsonists. They were calling them anarchists in 2013 for shutting down the government. And let's be clear on one of these points. The Democrats are saying Republicans control all the branches of government. They're the ones that are going to get blamed. That's right. We control the White House. We control the House. But when it comes to the Senate, I think we have to be very clear on that front. If it was a simple majority to pass a continuing resolution, I would buy their argument, but I know that that is deeply dishonest because you have to have 60 votes to pass a continuing resolution in the Senate. So to say that we actually control both chambers of Congress is deeply dishonest.
That's very true. You're absolutely right on that. Scott, they're trying to message and they've got their talking points, some of which Scott's about to give us. But, Scott, let's hit first with this. How is it right that we penalize hardworking members of our very own military that risk their lives? And now these folks are going to have to go without pay because, Congress can't get their act together because they're all worked up. Frankly, we'd all like to see a solution to the Dreamers, but at the expense of the well-being of military members that have been serving the United States. How is that right?
Okay, they're certainly in the bill, and there's a lot of other things in the bill as well. But it's intellectually dishonest to have the debate just in that place of the military. We all want to get them paid. But Democrats were promised that the DACA would be dealt with by the Republicans, and they failed in delivering on that promise. And secondly, you have a disorganized Republican Party in the House and Senate. Remember, there are 5 or 6 Republican senators who are not on board with this current bill as well. And remember this, too. The Democrats and the Republicans presented a bipartisan bill to the White House that said what the president or what they thought the president wanted along the way. He rejected it and invoked these racist comments. Now, I don't think the Democrats are holding up this bill because of his racist comments. I think they're holding it up because they can't trust Donald Trump on the DACA issue. And if you cave in now on this CR, then there's no leverage for the Republicans to deal with DACA going forward.
Okay.
And so all the Republicans have to do, and the Democrats, put DACA in there, and you got a deal. And both sides support it generally.
All right, we're going to pick this apart a little bit here. Unpack it, shall we say? Because
but those were the
racism, I don't buy that, guys. I just don't buy it. And I think that, unfortunately, it's politically motivated. And I understand the left is going to keep on using that language to try and paint him as something that is absolutely despicable to any American. But you'll do that because that's one way to rally the enthusiasm of a lot of voters, because you paint someone as that's about as bad as it gets. Anyway, moving on to getting DACA done. Ned Ryan, he's asking for money for the wall for border security. What's wrong with that?
I wrote about this in my most recent op-ed at American Greatness, Trish. The parameters for this agreement have been laid out in return for full funding in border security, for end to chain migration, for an end to the visa lottery system. There is a willingness to give the DACA dreamers, 700, 800,000 of them, green cards and put them on a path to citizenship. The parameters have been laid out, and I'm not really sure what the great mystery is here. The other thing that's staggering to me in this whole debate about DACA and the dreamers and border security, again, the hypocrisy of Democrats. 2006, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Chuck Schumer all voted for the Yuma sector wall. And in 2010, Dick Durbin was on the floor of the Senate calling for an end to chain migration.
How is it it's all changed?
And in return,
it's Donald
we
Trump
will give legal status to the dreamers.
Right. Scott, Ned brings up a great point. I mean, there was a time not so long ago when Democrats were on board with better security. We're on board with having walls down there along the border for our protection. What has happened?
Well, different time, different place. The Democrats and Republicans who...
Wait, what?
Well, of course.
So really, that's it? Well, isn't that intellectually dishonest? Scott, I mean, just because you don't like the President of the United States, you're not going to vote for legislation that you previously backed?
That's not what I said, and that's not what the Democrats say.
But you say it is the President that's in the way.
That wall that passed, the bill that passed that wall 10 plus years ago was never funded by the Republicans or the Democrats. Secondly, it makes no sense to do that comparative. It was not built, and it still needs.
The Yuma sector wall was built, and it decreased immigration, illegal crossings by over 90%.
It did not.
It was built.
It made you feel better about blocking illegal immigration, but it certainly didn't. The statistics went down with higher enforcement and better enforcement, and the Democrats are never going to agree to a wall that either makes no sense or from a perception standpoint, they agree to border security. We all agree to border security.
Hey, really quick before I let you go, any chance that Schumer is able to meet the president halfway on this, Scott, as they meet right now? That's going on.
I don't know how they meet halfway on DACA. He's not going to bend on DACA, and so they're going to have to bend on some other things. The easiest resolution of this that would be somewhat reasonable to the Republicans and the Democrats was just to add the DACA language. The hardliners like Cotton and others want a broader immigration bill, and they're the ones, if you ask me, are the ones that are contributing to the shutdown of the federal government. Nobody wants that. It's a simple solution. Add DACA, which the president agreed to and which the Republicans promised to deal with. Now, they failed in that promise on this case, and the Democrats are going to hold strong.
Ned.
And both sides are shutting down the government.
And by the way, I just want to point out to the viewer, we're keeping an eye on the White House there because you can see the press corps just rushing over to the windows there. We're wondering if maybe anybody's going to walk out. Wouldn't it be nice if we saw the president and Chuck Schumer walk out and say mission accomplished? But again, I don't know how much faith I have on that, but we'll see. We'll see. We're keeping an eye.
You know what?
Ned, are we looking at a shutdown? I hope they do too. I absolutely hope they do, because as we said earlier, we need to make sure that our military members are paid, and we need to make sure that everybody who's working in the government right now needs to get paid. Go ahead, Ned.
Well,
we need to protect DACA too.
If you were to ask me really quick, Scott, I give you time. If we fund the military and we make sure we fund that we're paying our interest payments on our debt, you know what? I wouldn't mind if we had government shut down for a little bit, because now reports are coming out that there might be 800,000 non-essential federal government employees being furloughed. There are only 2 million federal government employees, but they cost us $136 billion a year, Trish. And
so
if Republicans are smart,
wouldn't it be amazing, right?
They can have a conversation
about do we need all these people? Do we need this much government? I mean, shut it down. See how we do then.
If Republicans are smart, they will have that conversation.
America. Okay, listen, America, you just heard a leading Republican advocate for a shutdown. The president advocates for a shutdown from time to time after his campaign and in his campaign. Run the tape. So the Republicans don't care about a shutdown. That's why they're going to be blamed.
They're not coming out holding hands just yet anyway. So I got to take a quick break. But I mean, there's something to be said. I'll tell you, if this government can function perfectly well, Ned makes a good point. Maybe we need to be looking pretty hard at who is in the government and who we need and who we don't need, because corporate America would certainly do that. Ned, Scott, thank you so
Trish,
much.
That's such a bad idea.
No, it's not a bad idea. You know why? It's my taxpayer dollar and your taxpayer dollars that are going to fund a bloated government. So I have no problem with taking a hard look at whether we need all the people that we employ. Corporation would do the same thing. Government should run like one. Thank you, guys.